Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading. It's a Sunday afternoon. I press the record button and the dogs start barking. It's quite remarkable. But anyway, I'm going to press on with the Knights Templar Tarot, and hopefully the keeper of the dogs will actually quiet them in time. The Knights Templar Tarot about duty, about honour, about secrets and mysteries too. But we're focusing on the duty part. And of course, a certain prince has a duty to the crown, has a duty of loyalty, devotion and honour and all the rest of it, but has decided to write a tell-all book. And according to The Sun, was paid £17.5 million advance for the book, as part of a £35 million 4-book deal. One of the books we speculate is The Bench, which I could have knocked off in half an hour one afternoon. It might have required some help, some chemical assistance, from the grape, but I certainly could have bashed out The Bench and done better with the rhyming couplets than she did. But anyway, now the story goes, according to The Sun, that Prince Harry is in a panic. Well, everything has changed since the Queen passed. Everything has changed. The royal family is enormously popular. So popular that the Labour Party sang the national anthem at their party conference today for the first time ever, and it was not booed. God save the King. Prince Harry's popularity in freefall, royals all going up and up and up, including King Charles and Camilla, the Queen Consort, something that he would never have foreseen. But we are in strange and interesting times, and such strange and interesting times that it now seems that Harry is trying to stop the presses. According to Tom Bower, the book is at the press. He named them, the printers, somewhere down in the West Country, quite famous printers, and too late. Publishers, I did a reading on this. We're getting all kinds of different stories. The one story was the publishers didn't want to go ahead. They wanted to hold back, delay things. I assume it delayed just the release of the book, not let's rewrite it and reprint it at enormous cost to ourselves. And of course, is the ghostwriter even around to do the rewrites? Who knows? But they wanted to hold back. Prince Harry allegedly threatened them with legal proceedings for breach of contract. I've done a reading on that. Then came the story that King Charles was thinking about buying Harry out. We need to shuffle some more. Buying Harry out of his contract. Pay back that huge advance, probably pay back the other 17.5 million as well. They've got to pay off that mortgage somehow in Montecito. Got to live on things somehow. She can't just go around wearing cheap beach hats. Bitch hat. That's a new one. Freudian slip. A bitch hat. I think I need to trademark that or copyright it or whatever. And anyway, if I was doing merch, I would do a bitch hat merch. I'm doing a Celtic cross. I've lost my train of thought, so who knows what's going to happen in this reading. But anyway, I'm doing a reading to see what's going on, the problems, what's going on behind the scenes, how Harry felt about the book before, what's going on now. Is he going to manage to do the rewrite? Why does he want to do the rewrite? Who has he been bad-mouthing in particular? And has it dawned on him finally that really the royal family is always going to win? The crown always wins, and he went up against it, and down he goes. Judgment card. Oh, that's an interesting card. I want a second chance. Please, please, please let me back in. I want a second chance. Look at them. There they are. Not a very pretty sight in their predicament, but it is the card of awakening. Not sudden realizations. The dawning of truth. The eyes open, the scales, the veil falls away, and you see the reality of a situation with the Judgment card. And it's the second coming, the trumpet sounds, and it's a second chances card. Major arcana, it's a big deal, this. It's also about decisions, decision making, the quality of your decision making, and all, of course, extremely relevant in this reading. Judgment card there. He is regretting his decision. He wants another chance, going to write that book and make it oh so much nicer now. In that panic, how did they put it? He's desperately making last minute changes because of the Queen's death. He fears parts will be deemed insensitive so soon after her death and his father taking the throne. So little rat that he is was quite happy to write nasty things about them while they were alive, but now he realizes that the public sentiment is entirely in the royal family's favour. All change, scrambling to save himself, As I say, they're in a tricky situation, these two in the Judgment card, very sticky. So let's remind you, this is a tarot reading for entertainment purposes, all my opinion, all speculation. There is a disclaimer in the box below. Please read it. Please form your own opinions about the sticky situation Harry might have got himself into. And let's look at the situation now. The Ten of Pentacles, the big money card. The Ten of Pentacles, it's one of the classic royal family cards because it's about lineage, it's about succession, it's about the past linked to the future, it's about your place in society, your place in the world. It's about being enormously privileged and abundant and provided for forever and forever and forever. There's big money here. This book is essential to the Wahako's financial well-being. I've seen that in all the readings that I've done on it. It's their prime source of income, the book. That's why he's gone ahead with it. That's why he's still pressing ahead with it, even though he now needs to rewrite vast chunks of it. This card tells me that. If nothing else in this reading tells me that, the Judgment card tells me a major rethink. But it's his big ticket. It's how he pays the mortgage off, how he keeps her happy, and all the rest of it. But it's also the royal family, and it's his place in the royal family. So that's also at stake. And it's all to play for if he does not save the situation, as they are speculating in The Sun, that he is trying to save the situation. He's out. He's out of that. He is already out, by all accounts. But it might be slowly dawning on him. He is rather dim that he's out. Book or no book. And that they don't trust him and they will never trust him again. So his problem. What is his problem? His problem is her. In a nutshell, the Two of Cups is partnerships, emotional partnerships, relationships. Your one true love. It's your what do they call it, your soulmatey kind of energy. So Two of Cups, it is about her trying to appease her, keep her happy. She needs the money, she needs the book deal. Apparently one of the books is going to be written by her. It was going to be a wellness book, irony of ironies, driven two elderly people into their graves. In my opinion, that is just my opinion, that her behaviour hastened both of their demises, Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth. But she is going to write a book on wellness, apparently. It's got to keep her sweet, got to keep her happy. Partnerships as well, also, it doesn't have to be romantic. So secondary energy of that is the relationship with the publisher. I've got to keep that sweet because there's huge money involved. So he's got two problems. He's got the royal family problem and trying to keep them sweet, but the publishers and trying to keep them sweet as well. What a mess he has made. And I thought that the Queen would live for another 8 years like her mother did. It would all be forgiven, never complain, never explain, all of that. He'd get away with it. She decided, no, you're not going to get away with it, you little weasel. So that's my opinion. That really is my opinion. What's going on behind the scenes right now? Rewrites, panic, Queen of Cups. That's interesting because it's a very female energy, the Queen of Cups. I'm wondering if there's a woman involved. We know Mummy, 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 the book all about Mummy. and how Mummy was wronged by Daddy, driven to her death by the wicked media, and also probably Prince Philip personally went out and severed the brake line of the car. I am joking, but that's the kind of mess that the royal family has been dealing with for years and years and years, allegedly because Mohammed Al Fayed felt guilty about the way he had forced Princess Diana and Dodi together and orchestrated everything, and then they went and died. And so got to blame someone, can't blame himself, blame the royal family. It's Mummy. It's Mummy. I'm surprised to see that card there in the hidden energy, perhaps, and I'm being facetious now, but I'm only slightly being facetious. We know that Mummy talks to him and guides him, and she's always with him. She's not with William. She travelled overseas with the Harkles to Canada and then to California. He's talking to Mummy about this. Mummy, what do I do? And I honestly, sincerely get that energy. For all the panic and the rewrites, and can we stop the presses, and can we get the ghostwriter back on board and tear up all those drafts and start again? Mummy is the one he really wants to talk to. And it's quite sad and it's quite pathetic. Help. I've made a mess, Mummy. What do I do? What do I do? I honestly get that almost sort of prayerful, beseeching energy, crying. I've made a mess. And yeah, a minute's silence there for him, or a moment of silence for her as well. And so his focus, his goal right now, what is he trying to achieve? The Eight of Cups wants to leave this mess behind him. It's a very beautiful Eight of Cups, this walking away from the conflict back to the ship. Yes, you trashed a few countries there, but never mind. On you go. But I don't know where that came from. I don't normally feel bitter about ancient history, and it's not even my ancient history, but that just popped out. And apologies to anyone who was offended by that comment. It just came out. But it's probably the context of this reading of somebody who has trashed whole countries and is now walking away from the mess, leaving that trail of destruction behind him. He wants to run away. Really, he wants to run away. He's a little boy. He isn't even a 12 or 13-year-old boy. He's more like an 8-year-old boy who's made a mess, and Mummy must fix it. This is such a strong energy coming through in this reading. It really is pitiful. A lot of cups, a lot of emotion, a lot of self-pity. Cups always, even when they're upright, can head into the self-pity sort of realm. Poor me. I don't deserve this. How did this all go so horribly wrong? How do I get myself out of this mess? Daddy, will you pay? How was he feeling about this book before this all went so horribly wrong a couple of weeks ago? How is he feeling about it? Justice. Yeah, justice in reverse though. Justice in the reverse, serving them. Serve them right. That's how he felt. Justice in reverse, bad karma is harsh criticism, harsh judgment, illegalities, doing things a little bit dodgy as well, a little bit illegal, legal proceedings going against you, but it's not that in this context. That's technically what it means, but interpreting it in the context of this reading, it means I'm going to serve you. I'm going to show you, you behaved dreadfully to Mummy, and now I'm going to get justice. I'm going to get revenge. Of course, such a clever title. When it first came out, that book, I thought, huh? But more and more I see why Tom Bauer called his book Revenge. And that is the justice card in reverse, serving justice, serving revenge, it can't go to court about all of these things. There have been inquests and all manner of things in the past, but he can get his justice, his revenge, avenge his mother. In the book, everybody's barking. It's new moon right now. The energy is very intense. It's a very tiring energy. I'm really very tired for no particular reason except the moon. I could just lie on the floor right now. But dogs. dogs, even the cat has been rolling around and scratching and carrying on. She's set off outside. Anyway, we'll move on, and we'll move on to the near future in this reading and see what is going to be happening next. Stop press. We get the Emperor in reverse. That is King Charles. He is now the Emperor, but he's in reverse. Father as well. The Emperor is, of course, your father. It sounds to me as if King Charles could intervene. Reversals, more and more I'm reading in these royal readings as stuff that's going on in secret. Shadow stuff that's going on in secret. Also future energy, so stepping in future. We're talking about the near future. It could be that behind the scenes the checkbook comes out. Do people still have checkbooks? Perhaps when they bank with the bank that the royals bank with, they do have checkbooks, very fancy checkbooks. And no, I don't bank there, and I don't have one of those checkbooks. But I know someone who does. The Emperor in reverse, behind the scenes, Daddy could save him. We've got Mummy, now we've got Daddy. Daddy saves. Daddy writes a huge check. Daddy stops the presses. Books are pulped. Goes to write it's paid off. He might have to be thrown into the tower to be silenced. Just kidding. But we are at the Knights Templar Tarot right now. And that. Or, but unlikely, you're going to get a very angry King Charles, because too late to stop this. It's never too late if you're the King of England. Never too late. Or very angry publisher. That also. Because the Emperor is the boss. And very angry publisher. Very, very angry. Could even be very angry ghostwriter. Also the Emperor. So quite a few people coming through in this card. And this energy of who is the ruler of them all. Who is the ruler of them all? King Charles is the ruler of them all. But there's some dominant male energies here who are displeased. Very. It's not Harry energy. He's never the Emperor. Never, never. So, what is he really afraid of? What is he really worried about? Who did he really trash in this book? I mean, we've got the obvious suspects, culprits, targets. Targets is the right word. The Emperor being one of them. But what is his real concern with this book now? Ten of Swords. It's not about who he's ruining. A betrayal. The Ten of Swords is about betrayal and ruin. Absolute ruin. Somebody is so ruined that they are dead. They cannot be risen from the dead. Their reputation is so trashed. They have been so betrayed, so hit rock bottom that that's it. But who has just passed? I'm looking at the angels. I wouldn't normally feel this in this card. When I'm looking at the angels, this is a recent demise. There are two, of course. There are two. He has trashed the Queen in this book, and also Prince Philip, I would say. I know it's a male figure down there, but this is a recent demise, and the angels are still watching over this body that is I don't want to get grotesque, so we'll stop that thought. But this is recent. A recent tragedy, a recent ending, a recent passing. He trashed the Queen and Prince Philip. And they are now under that slab together. He trashed them. The little piece of that stuff. I don't like being foul on this channel. But really I'm stunned. I'm absolutely stunned by the energy that's coming off this card. He went there. He went there. She would have been alive and have to read it and have to see the newspaper headings about what a terrible woman she was, how terribly she raised everybody in the family, and whatever other awful things he could say about her and him. And she would have to see it over her cornflakes out of her Tupperware at the breakfast table, because the newspapers were presented to her to read every day. I'm feeling very emotional. I'm feeling very angry. So has he realised a thing or two? We do have the Judgment card as the underlying energy. Has he realised a thing or two about the royal family and how much more important the royal family are than he realised, than he thought? He thought he was the reason the royal family was popular. Has he now woken up to the truth about how people feel? The silent majority has spoken. Finally, the moon. The moon is your shadow. It's the stuff that you fear, the stuff that you're confused about, the stuff that you're not sure about. And he's afraid. He's afraid. And very interesting comments by Valentine Lowe in the excerpts that were released to the Times newspaper over the weekend about how terrified Harry was of meeting the Queen. Of course, full of bravado afterwards in that ridiculous interview for NBC, where he said he was her most popular visitor and she loved him and he made her laugh and she trusted him and confided in him. What rot. He was afraid, so afraid that he had to fill himself up with Dutch courage before he could go and see her, because he knew that he was lying and betraying and all the rest of it. It's an interesting card because it's a card, it's a mystery. It's a mystery. The moon is the public. In astrology, the moon is the public, the body public. The public that lined the streets, the public that queued for 13 hours. Some people did it more than once. The public that came out in their grief and their sorrow to mourn the passing of this woman here. He's seen it. I think he's baffled by it. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't grasp it. But he has to acknowledge the evidence of his own eyes. And that is what this card is telling me. It's telling me this great mystery. The pillars that you go through, the moon, the darkness, that dark journey, it's the light, being called by the light through the pillars of wisdom and all the rest of it. He's seen something. This passing, this death has shown him something, has taught him something. It has shown him a mystery. He doesn't get it. He's afraid of it. I think he's afraid of the public. He's afraid of public sentiment. He's afraid of how powerful it is, the silent majority. This silent majority, and the never explain, never complain, never explain, also a silent figure. All this blabbing, all this talk that he's done. This is powerful stuff. This is a lesson to all of us about the power of silence, the power about keeping your own counsel, the power of knowing that what you do is seen by unseen forces. Okay, enough of that. His hopes and fears right now. The Seven of Wands, he is very afraid of the attacks that he's going to get. He's hoping that he can defend himself. This Knight is mortal combat there. He's overpowered, he's overwhelmed, he's extremely vulnerable. He is having to fight for his life in that card. He's afraid of that. And he's hoping that he'll survive. And that he's not going to end up like the 10 of Swords. The outcome of this rather horrible reading. The outcome is the Ace of Pentacles. Catching. It's even a red lined box. And we've seen, look at the flag that the box is sitting on. We've seen photos released of the king sitting with his red box, doing his work, going through his papers. Money, big payment, new start, fresh start. Don't be surprised if you don't see a book, if the book mysteriously disappears and Harry is suddenly back in the UK, or very quiet and very well behaved on a new path. Don't be angry about it. He really isn't worth your anger. And we'll leave it there. Ace of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. That's not the book making tons of money. I don't think anyone in the UK will actually buy the book. now. But pretty clear. So we'll leave it there. I'm a bit stunned by some of the cards in this reading, and I need to totter away and recover. And I'll see you again on the next reading.